What happens when an artist dedicates his life to beauty, only to be rejected by the very art world he loved? John William Godward was one of the last great neoclassical painters, a master of light, texture, and idealized beauty. His work transported viewers to a dreamlike version of ancient Rome and Greece, filled with stunningly detailed marble, flowing drapery, and serene figures. But despite his incredible talent, Godward's art was dismissed during his lifetime. As modernism took over, his classical vision was seen as outdated, irrelevant, a relic of a dying era. Isolated from the changing art scene, Godward withdrew completely, and his life ended in tragedy. So why are his paintings now celebrated and sold for millions? How did the art world go from rejecting him to recognizing his genius? Today, we explore the life and art of John William Godward, his rise, his downfall, and his rediscovery. John William Godward's art emerged at a turning point in history. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw a dramatic shift in the art world. Traditional academic painting, which had dominated for centuries, was being challenged by new movements: Impressionism, Post-Impressionism, and eventually modernism. Artists were moving away from realism and idealized beauty, embracing abstraction, emotion, and experimental techniques. But Godward resisted this change. He belonged to the Neoclassical movement, a style heavily influenced by the art of ancient Rome and Greece. His work echoed the grandeur of Sir Lawrence Alma Tadema, with luxurious architectural details, classical costumes, and breathtaking depictions of light and texture. Yet, while artists like Picasso and Matisse were redefining art, Godward continued to paint his serene, romanticized scenes. To many in the emerging modernist circles, his work seemed outdated, a nostalgic escape rather than a bold step forward. This artistic divide left Godward in an impossible position. The critics of his time saw him as an artist clinging to the past, and by the early 20th century, his style had fallen out of favor. But today, we see his paintings differently. Rather than an artist who refused to evolve, we can now recognize Godward as a visionary who stayed true to his ideals, even in the face of rejection. Let's take a closer look at the man behind these exquisite paintings, his life, his struggles, and the artistic journey that shaped his legacy. John William Godward was born in 1861 in England into a strict and conservative Victorian family. His parents expected him to follow a conventional career path, but from a young age, Godward showed a passion for art. This put him at odds with his family, who saw painting, especially his romanticized classical style, as an unworthy pursuit. Despite their disapproval, Godward pursued his passion. He trained at the Royal Academy of Arts in London, where he developed his technical skills and was heavily influenced by Sir Lawrence Alma Tadema, the leading neoclassical artist of the time. Under Alma Tadema's influence, Godward mastered the art of painting marble, drapery, and soft, glowing skin, three elements that would define his signature style. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Godward lived a highly reclusive life. He rarely socialized, preferring to focus entirely on his work. He was known for his obsessive attention to detail, spending weeks perfecting the way sunlight reflected off a stone surface or the delicate folds of a silk gown. By the 1890s, his paintings were in demand. Collectors admired his ability to transport viewers to an imagined past where beauty, peace, and refinement reigned supreme. His subjects, idealized women in flowing robes, reclining on marble terraces, became his signature, offering a dreamlike escape from the industrialized modern world. But as the 20th century approached, the art world was changing rapidly. The rise of modernism and the rejection of classical traditions placed artists like Godward in a difficult position. He continued to paint in his highly detailed classical manner, refusing to adapt to the new artistic trends. This decision would ultimately lead to his downfall. Rejected by critics, abandoned by collectors, and cut off from his family, Godward made a drastic choice, one that would cement his legacy as one of art history's most tragic figures. Let's now explore the artistic style and masterpieces that made him one of the last great neoclassical painters. John William Godward was a perfectionist. His art was a celebration of idealized beauty, classical elegance, and meticulous attention to detail. He dedicated his life to capturing the timeless grace of antiquity, portraying serene women in stunning settings inspired by ancient Greece and Rome. One of the defining elements of his work was his mastery of texture. Few artists could paint marble, silk, and human skin with such breathtaking realism. In his paintings, the cool smoothness of polished stone contrasts with the softness of flowing fabric, creating an almost tangible sense of depth and richness. Another hallmark of Godward's style was his use of light and color. He often placed his subjects in sunlit terraces, bathed in warm golden light. His color palettes, featuring soft pastels, deep blues, and delicate pinks, added to the dreamlike quality of his compositions. Godward's paintings transport viewers to a romanticized vision of the ancient world, a place untouched by time, where beauty and tranquility exist in perfect harmony. But while his work was admired by collectors, it was also criticized. The art world was shifting toward abstraction and modernism, and many critics dismissed his paintings as outdated and irrelevant. Yet despite the rejection, Godward never compromised his artistic vision. He refused to embrace the new trends, even as it meant losing his place in the evolving art scene. His commitment to beauty, however, would come at a devastating personal cost. Let's now explore why his work, once overlooked, is now recognized as a testament to artistic integrity and timeless elegance. At the time of John William Godward's death, the world had moved on. The art world was captivated by Picasso, Matisse, and the explosion of modernism, leaving Godward's classical vision behind. His refusal to embrace the new movements sealed his fate, not only in life but in art history. After his tragic death, his name all but disappeared from public consciousness. While artists like Alma Tadema and Leighton were still remembered, Godward was forgotten. But today, his work is experiencing a major revival. In an age where contemporary art is often defined by abstraction and conceptual ideas, collectors and art lovers are once again drawn to his mastery of form, light, and emotion. His paintings, once dismissed as outdated, are now recognized as some of the finest examples of neoclassical art ever created. Auction houses now sell his works for millions of dollars, and art historians reevaluate his role in keeping the tradition of classical beauty alive. What was once considered irrelevant is now celebrated as a testament to his unwavering artistic integrity. Godward's story serves as a reminder that true art doesn't always follow trends. His work represents a pursuit of timeless beauty in a world obsessed with change. And while his era may have rejected him, the modern world now sees him for what he truly was: a master of neoclassicism, a painter of breathtaking elegance, and a visionary who never compromised his art. Now let's reflect on his extraordinary legacy and the lessons his life and work leave behind. John William Godward's life was a story of devotion, beauty, and ultimately tragedy. He was a man who refused to change, staying true to his vision even as the world moved on without him. While others abandoned classical traditions in favor of modernism, he remained dedicated to capturing elegance, serenity, and perfection on canvas. But his fate serves as both a cautionary tale and an inspiration. It reminds us that art is not always appreciated in its own time. What was once dismissed as outdated is now cherished as a masterpiece of neoclassical beauty. Today, his paintings are no longer forgotten. They hang in prestigious collections, sell for millions, and inspire a new generation of artists who see value in his meticulous craftsmanship and commitment to timeless aesthetics. So what do you think? Was Godward an artist ahead of his time, or a man clinging to a world that no longer existed? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into his work, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories of forgotten masters, artistic revolutions, and timeless beauty. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.